In this video, all cards on the table, I'll show you exactly how I make money with AI as 3D artist. No lies, no bullshit. I run an Upwork agency with 500,000 incomplete orders. Everything you'll see comes from real experience. Let's get on it. So the first approach I want to talk about is avatars. But hear me out. It's not just about creating avatars with 3D AI. Because yes, you can generate the avatar, but what's next? How to drop it in the game? It's just a static model. What really adds value to the avatar when it's optimized, it has all the textures, material properties, and of course it's rigged, so you can use it as a game character, apply animations, and much more. And now I'll show you step-by-step process how we do that in my team. So look at this. This is an amazing example we did just recently. It is fully rigged, it is optimized, it has all the material maps, metalness, roughness, normal maps, and it looks just amazing. And it all started with 3D AI. So let's break it down. You definitely know the first step. We just need to create images. In my previous video, I showed already how I do concepts, but in essence, you just go to ChatGPT, get some ideas, get some prompts for image models, go to models like Flux Pro, GPT image model, anything that you like. You create an image, you make it in a pose. This, for example, was created by Gemini, and when you're happy, we're ready to move to the next step. To create these models, we used recently updated Hitem 3D 1.5, which is amazing in amount of details and how precise it follows reference. In my opinion, it is one of the best models right now, but you can also try to do the same thing using Tripo or Rodin or any other model. So far, I think Hitem 3D is really at a good level. The problem with these models that they are very heavy. There is 1 million vertex per each, right? And this is just a static model. So what are the next steps that we do? So the next step will be sculpting. This is optional step, but if you want to adjust some details, you can do that in Blender in a sculpting mode. You can take the model to ZBrush and basically smoothen some details, add something more, adjust the shape where you want it. It's quite simple. It is also very fun to do. Probably sculpting is one of my favorite part. You are not about to drastically change the shape, but you can add some small details all around. For example, some stripes on this cape and so on. When you will finish with it, it will be obviously extremely high poly model. So in this example, after you export that from when you finish in Blender or export it from ZBrush, it is nearly 4 million vertices, which is even more than it was before. So the next step obviously is retopology or optimization. Of course, you cannot sell something like this. The cool thing also is that almost for every step there are plugins and add-ons that make this flow easier. And here's an example how fast things are changing. Oh yeah, so this example was made by my artist using Blender add-on, and it is quite easy when you master it. Like, you can spend just a little bit of time and do that, and you can see how awesome it looks. It's not that difficult, but it adds value to the model. And again, the better topology is, the more value we actually get from it. And it's more easier to do a right rig and so on. However, there is quite a progress in AI to do the same task. So here is an example that I did with AI. Here is the topology, and it's actually not that bad. And I mean, like, in some cases this is, it can be enough. Yes, it's not that perfect, not accurate and rationalized like this one, so you use the polygons when we really need them. It is optimized here, but still it can be done better. However, this was done in a few minutes with AI. And here's how I did it. We'll need to go back to our high poly model, decimate it until that value that when it exports, it is weight less than 200 megabytes. Now, when you do that and export it as GLB or something, we can go to Hunion, we go to laboratory, and there is 3D intelligent topology. They have many fancy things, but not ready to recommend them as they're like quite experimental. But this one actually is really interesting. So we go to third tab where we upload the model. We drop the model here. We wait until it uploads. We press Singularity and generate instantly. So I did that already, and here is this model that I did, and you can see here is the output. That's exactly the same model I showed you. They also suggest you that you can do automatic rigging. So you just press the button and then you go into the menu where you can select the animations. So here you can see how it looks like. It is still quite impressive because, yeah, that was completely automatic and you didn't set. But if you take a closer look, and you will definitely do if you're going to sell it, there are a lot of artifacts and imperfections. So far, I think you still have to do rigging manually because that's where the main value lays, right? And you don't want to get a lot of bad feedback. And if you can actually master like doing rigging with some add-ons, which again will save you extreme amount of time. When I was studying all of this, there was no such amount of add-ons and you have to learn it manually, like setting bones, weights and stuff. And right now it's way easier. So here we split like it in two parts. The avatar, the cloak, did the rigging, and you can see like here is how it looks in the end. We can go to the pose mode and we can actually move the bones and it looks just amazing, right? We can move any parts. We adjusted the weights. That's how it worked. And here is the end result that you can see on a Sketchfab. It is basically a posed model with all the items, with the string, with the needle, and it simply looks amazing. Here you can also see that we added some materials. You can see the texture looks a little bit different, so you can go and Substance Painter, you can paint it here. Basically what's happening, like we adding like some texture maps, color maps, make reflections and material property look right as we want it, because AI is not really doing that well at this moment. And this is a very fun and interesting process where you can actually show that make model look way better than it was when it generated, even though basically shape remain the same. Also on this step we actually baking some details into a normal map, right? So this is so-called process when from high poly we bake it into the low poly, and basically we create a normal map that bakes that small details and reflects them without the geometry. You can accomplish the avatar like this within a day or less if you master all the parts. And again, like thanks to 3D AI, we can save a lot of time on that first initial step where you unleash your creativity and do a lot of iteration. And again, like you can do that way faster. Like you can play with images, save time, then like whenever you like it, just like in 5 minutes you get the model like this and you can do the rest of the steps. And this is amazing. The model like this can be easily sold in around $15 to $25. Here you can see the model was published 4 days ago on Sketchfab. It already has 130 stars. It was even highlighted by Sketchfab staff, which is amazing. You can go on any trading platform like Fab, like CG Trader, and you can see like how much it costs when we have a full avatar, like with some changeable parts and so on. And this is really working. It's not just about using 3D AI and generating nice looking 3D models. It's about making them valuable and your effort on top, like Retopology, rigging. So here's how cool it looks after all the material setups. Here is the metallic map. So like some parts are more metallic, some are less metallic, right? Here's the roughness map. Some parts are more reflective, some are less reflective. So the black one is more reflective. If we go back to final render, you can see it is more reflective. And the normal map. Like, so you can see all these small details are basically baked on the normal texture instead of taking any polygons, right? And if we go to the polygons, you can see how optimized it is, right? And that's why this model is that usable and popular. This might be a really good source of your passive income in next years. Our studio also has account in Fab and CG Trader. Almost every artist in my team has an account there, and they're selling some 3D models they're doing on their spare time, and you can create a really good passive income for years. Hey guys, it's we again, and today we want to thank you a lot for our first 10k subscribers, and to celebrate that we'll give away two $50 full AI credits vouchers for those of you who leave best comments under this video. Thank you a lot. So the next one is assets, background assets. But again, hear me out. It's not about assets because that's also quite simple. You can basically go to a 3D AI, create something. That doesn't mean you will successfully sell it. Yes, you can create a unique piece and put it on the sale. Maybe you'll get some sales over time, but that's a very small value. And most likely some of the objects already exist. What's really cool is that it's became extremely popular to create some packs, asset packs, where you can create assets in one style, so whoever buys it can create whole terrains, whole landscapes using your assets. So here is a perfect example I found, and you can see all these small pieces are not that difficult to create with AI. You can adjust them slightly in Blender, adjust the textures and so on, create a pack relatively fast, and altogether it gets way more values. This one is starting from $200. It is an amazing job compiling all together, keeping all objects in one style. So big kudos to this guy. I think if you spend some time, spend some effort like creating themed kits, this will add a lot of value, meaning that you will be able to sell it and get some real money from it. And there are examples of this packs, collections, kits for anything. Like you can see like food collection. If you saw my video like in Vivo 3D, we were creating the onion that looks almost exactly like this with that realistic texture. You can generate images, you can create 3D models, adjust them slightly. I also showed like how you can do that with AI if you don't have knowledge in Blender and so on, or you learn how to do that in Blender. And here you go. Spend some time, spend 1-2 weeks to create your first pack, try to sell it. You will 100% going to succeed if you put real effort there. And over time, it might build a passive income. Imagine you put it once on the stock and can be sold anytime. The more things you develop, at some point in 1 or 2 years, you can easily get like 2+ K in passive income. Isn't that amazing? And the third approach is a little more advanced, but with AI, it became so accessible and so amazing that I think like everyone should try to do it. It's about scripting, but scripting in Blender and doing automations and stuff. So here's an example, and I encourage you to try it. I also had some videos connecting MCP to this one, but let's do it like completely manual. I show you how I do that and how you can try it today. So first we open Blender and we can navigate a scripting tab. So what you're gonna see that there is a window where you can write some script. So first of all, we need to create a new one. Let's call it my script. And what I want to do is I want to save it. I go to text, save as. When we saved it, we can actually start playing with it. So basically there is 2 ways to get started, and we can get started without knowing anything about scripts. So the first way to do it, let's go to ChatGPT and ask the following. Let's ask it to create a simple script that I can run in Blender that will add 10 cube objects integrate to my scene. Right, let's copy code. Let's go back to Blender, paste it here, and let's try running. And here we go. Look how easy is that. The cool thing about Python is that you can actually read the comments and you can see that there is spacing, rows, columns, tree, and we can easily adjust the script. Let's say put 4 rows, 2 columns. Let's delete the objects here. Let's make spacing 5. Here we go. How cool is that? I just did a Blender automation. To move it even further, we can actually connect a cursor right to the Blender, and I really like to use cursor. So here's how I did. You go to edit, preference. You will need to first in programs to choose the CMD execution file here. In my case, it is Windows System CMD. You might ask ChatGPT how to do that for Mac. All these commands will be in the video description, and there will be a command to basically trigger cursor with some settings. What it's gonna do is that I can go to text and press edit externally. Now it will open cursor. We're gonna bring our script here, drop the text here, and we will have our chat window. We're gonna switch to agent, and now we can start the coding. So the whole process basically look like we chatting, making code here, go back to Blender and test it. One thing you need to know is that there is, if we go to window and you go to toggle system console, that will open the very important console that will show any errors after script execution. And whenever something happened with your script, you basically copy that information or screenshot, drop it back to the cursor saying like, something not working, please fix it, and it's gonna work. So let's try something else. Here is my script.
To add more cubes to scene, I need another script that will create a terrain like in Minecraft, and I want settings on top of the script so I can play with different seeds and so on. It must always create terrain 100 by 100 and use only cube.
Let's give it some time. I really like how ChatGPT 5 works in cursor. I think it's really cool, and it helped me a lot, and it speeds up the process significantly. Okay, so here's the results. It actually created a new file. So we're gonna copy this. We're gonna replace it in our file, save it. We're gonna drag and drop the current file and say, please continue working in this file. Okay, so here's the results. It actually updated my file. You can see it added a lot of settings, so we can see it here. So usually in Cursor, it shows you what it removed, what it added, and you can actually press keep it all. Okay, I trust ChatGPT. So to test it out, we're gonna need to go back to Blender, and here you can see this red question mark. We're gonna press it and reload from disk. So it's gonna actually take the changes from here. Let's try remove everything in scene. I just simply select it, press X, delete. There's some object camera, let's delete it too. And let's see, will it work or no? Okay, we press it. All right, so here's the results. And this is almost what I envisioned. I'll probably want it so it has a solid bottom, but this is a landscape and we can actually control it. Like we can play with seed. I guess like if we do another number, let's remove the collection, delete hierarchy, let's clean the scene, let's press it again, and yeah, it is another pattern. So here is just a simple example what you can do and how simple it can be. But the true power is that if you find something that you can automate, optimize the workflow, that you can actually sell this for really good money. And this is what I do for my work. I create pipelines, workflows that automatically applies some series of changes and saves a lot of time. Every 3D artist in my team already tried it, and they even create some add-ons like this to simplify their flow, the day-to-day routine. It adds a lot to productivity, and as a bonus, you can go and sell it on some marketplace like Gumroad. You can also sell it like on another trading platforms, and if you build something decent that saves time, you can make a really good money. And I do that for a living, and it was never that easy as it is right now. You basically go to ChatGPT, you update, you work, adjust. You can learn how to wrap it as an add-on, again thanks to ChatGPT or any other AI, and bring real value, boost your own efficiency, and make real money. Guys, I hope you liked the video. Guys, please like and subscribe. I really need your support, and I'll continue sharing valuable insights from industry and about my experience working with 3D and AI. See you.